So here's our visiting neighbor again. He's a very friendly, no, don't break my branch. Hi, I'm miltonchang of Bonsai Heirloom. Today is a beautiful sunny autumn afternoon. Trees are turning color. It's a wonderful time. Let's have a little fun, to introduce bonsai to beginners. You'll have holidays, so you have time to really think about starting bonsai as a hobby. I think you should consider bonsai. It's really a great hobby. It's very relaxing. It's almost like meditation. And if you help your children start it, it'll teach them responsibilities and so on and so forth. And what Bonsai Heirloom is trying to do is to provide you serious bonsai, well implemented, so they will become your heirloom. And this is holiday time, and it's a time to really think about getting into bonsai as a hobby. And for beginners, it's really easy to go to the nurseries or the big box stores and find readily available plant material and then turn it into bonsai. And Shohin bonsai being small means it can become a nice looking bonsai in 2 or 3 years. Whereas if you have a big tree, then it takes maybe 5 years or 10 years to develop the branches into a nice scale bonsai. With that in mind, then I want to show you 4 bonsai today. Shohin means they're small bonsai. Show you how easy it is to make these 2 into bonsai and how to refine one that's in existence. Rosemary is a very interesting material because you can get the cutting for cooking. Fresh rosemary, that's very desirable for lamp and things like that. And here you can see both of these are available in nurseries. This is the upright kind, and this is the prostrate kind. And this has very, very interesting pattern of the bark. Don't be misled. It's actually very difficult to, there are plenty available in the ground, but it's not easy to dig them because they tend to have very deep roots, very little fibrous roots on top. So a very small percentage of these will work. I happen to have bought this one from a friend that has been growing in 5-gallon trees, so there's no digging issue. And but notice the hovering kind, of prostrata kind, has almost a beautiful flower all year round, whereas this one is only like spring or fall, whatever it is. So, but this is readily available last Christmas. A lot of the Christmas trees are in a pot this size and into a pyramidal Christmas tree pruned into that shape. And these are rosemary. It turns out I found there's like 4 or 5 of these in one pot. So I pull them apart, and this is one of the smaller ones, and I put it into this pot. And right now, unless you look at a close-up, you can just see a lump of green. But what you can do is you can pull off some of the redundant greens to expose the bark so you can see the bark a little bit better. And the bark is beautiful. Well, not beautiful necessarily, but it reminds you of a natural tree rather than a fully covered tree with branches. And now you can see, you can start to make some decisions to make this tree look like more of a normal tree. And so usually there's an apex, you can cut off some of the bigger branches to make it to scale. And that's the whole nature about bonsai, is to make them simulate nature, to bring nature close to your home. And so you can be quite brutal to cut off. You never have to worry about making mistakes because they will grow back to let you have more chance to cut off. And so before, it's a fairly untidy tree, and now it looks a little bit more like a manicured tree in your garden. And that's the whole idea about bonsai, is to make your tree look natural, not contrived, as I always emphasize. So just a little bit of a clipping, you can see now it's a nice looking tree, shaped like a normal big tree. And that is the nature of bonsai, to make it simulate nature to a miniature scale. And that's the fun of it. So done that quickly. And next year you will see additional design possibilities. And as you cut and pinch and remove and let the branches grow, eventually you have a very nice tree. So that's the process of making bonsai. And in the case, as I mentioned, we take our bonsai seriously. So this is planted in our good soil material, which is a combination of sandy loam with a peat moss and all coconut coir and perlite, so that it absorbs water and also let air into the roots, so to keep the tree healthy. So even this little guy, which is Shohin, it's hard to keep alive because it dries out, but we have implemented to allow that to become your heirloom. So for example, the pots that we have a patent applied for by having a little well here, so that, well, these 4 holes would drain, but it would be filled with soil and the wire. But this little retainer wall retains a little bit of water, not much, because they have soil here, but that will allow the root ball to absorb the water to keep it moist, less likely to dry out for small Shohin bonsai. So this is a patented or applied for feature that I think is very useful for small bonsai. And it's got a nice logo out front. Then this one, as I said, it's a hovering kind, the prostrata kind. I think I'll probably, when you have a tree, you try to turn it and to see what's a better angle. I think this tree will probably look better if it's a little bit more upright. But nonetheless, you can see it's quite an interesting tree. And the thing is that I always say design with the end in mind, and keep in mind what you want the tree to look like. And then you will not react to instantaneous thoughts, but just continue to work towards the goal until you change your mind about the end result, which is fine. That's just continuous improvement, and until you get to the end result that's pleasing to you. But at any one point, there is a wish that where you want the tree to become. And like this one is going way back too much. So I just cut it off here to shorten it. And no big deal, there's no right way or wrong way. And like this one is going the wrong direction, so I cut it off. So that's a tree. Not that big a deal, but I think it's nice. And the stuff you cut off, you can use it for cooking. Why not, So bonsai is for fun. Do whatever pleases you and it works. Now let me do the next one, which is very inexpensive tree you can buy if you can find them. It's a Japanese maple tree in a 1-gallon can. I put it in a slightly bigger growing can to grow. You can see I cleaned off the roots before, so the roots are nicely spreading, which will look nice in a bonsai pot. But this branch of this root is a little bit too much for a Shohin, and the fact that it's got roots everywhere, it's okay. I'll just cut it off, and the little stuff that you leave in Japanese bonsai book, it's called shari, and so this become a shari, in a sense, a little stub that used to be a root, and that's a feature. See, it wants to break off kind of arbitrarily to simulate that's what happens in nature. So that's your shari. And then you can put it in a bonsai pot. And like in this case, you decide on which is the apex. I think this little branch can become the apex. Look at this little branch. It's very tiny now, but if you cut it, this will become the apex. And then this If I cut it here, this will become a side branch. You can see this is a really nice small tree. So now you can see here's a nice little Shohin. And you know, I break out this really roughly to simulate what it would happen in nature. I did that roughly to simulate what would happen in nature. And yet there's a nice radiating roots to show how the tree is grasping the earth. So for example, now I can put it in a pot, although I won't do it. I'll put it in this pot, I'll put back in this pot. But to show you what you can do, this was a 1 gallon tree, so not much roots yet. I think I did it last time. So this is only, I only had it from a sapling about less than 2 years, I would say. And now if I put it in this little pot, let me cut some of the roots off. To fit the pot, it's quite all right. They grow out. The roots rejuvenates very quickly. And this time of the year, with no evaporation of the leaves, you can be quite drastic about it. Look at this. How's that for a little Shohin? And I'll do a little bit of advertising by putting our logo out front. Oh, I guess we got it on both sides. Look at that. Nice. I like it. This is a bit of a challenge. This is a Procumbens nana juniper. You can find that readily in 1 gallon cans in nurseries for landscaping, for ground cover. The beautiful thing about it is it has very fine needle growth. The negative is that the trunk doesn't get thick very easily. You can dig up a fairly huge clump and the trunk will only be about this size because they tend to grow out that way. So I don't know what this will look like. Let me take it out of the pot. And this is actually a cutting about a year ago or 6 months ago. So let me see what's underneath of it. Okay, it's got a reasonable base. I think I bought these in 1 gallon of 2 gallon cans, and turns out there's really they rooted everywhere. So I actually wound up getting half a dozen per pot. So they're very easy to propagate. And so this is a nice trunk for this tree. And then I need to find a way to do this. So for example, by studying this, I think this could be the angle. If I plant it this way, you can see the rootage looks nice. And then this tree is coming up. So let me see what I can do using that as a design. And I would like to create some gin. So I will cut off leaving a stub so that I can make it into gin if I want to. And I cut off the redundant branch so I can show off the main trunk. So you work on the apex first. In this case, this branch is dead, which is too bad. That would have been up. So I had to figure out a new way to do the apex, or let the apex grow out to become apex, a little branch to become the apex. Yeah, I think I will go this way coming up and then go this way. So this branch is way too big. And when I cut off a branch, I have to be very careful. There's still some green underneath of it, or else it would not, the whole branch would die off. This is really a problematic tree. So let me just cut this off and make it into a gin. There's not much branch here. Oh, well, that's not too bad. Let me just keep this for a little while more. You can make no mistakes because it's your tree. Anything goes. And if it made a mistake, so to speak, it will grow back to have a lot of branches for you to work on next. just do it. Don't worry about it, even though you're a beginner. And that's the whole point about bonsai. The bonsai master made it so difficult that people are afraid of it. And also the watering is a problem, but we solved the watering problem by having that retainer water. And I really don't know what the tree is going to look like, but I cut it back to basics so that when it grow out, I can redesign it again. So I'm not worrying too much about it being right the first time. So this would be my little Shohin. Look at that. In fact, I'll cut this off as a gin. Well, since there's a little growth, I will keep it. There's a little green that may be coming out. So someday it may going up this way, that way, and then so forth. And then this one can be the back branch. So it doesn't look like much now, but you got to envision things into the future to make it work. So with that in mind then, again, I can use the same pot. They would develop, the roots would develop very quickly, so it's not a problem. So that's what the tree will look like. Not good, but not bad. Someday it will have a possibility. It comes up this way, coming up this way, and then this goes down. So today, I did 4 Shohin quickly to, in some sense, share with beginners on how to make bonsai. And the first point I want to make is you can use conventional material that are fun to have. In this case, rosemary. This one for landscaping. This one I got it from a Christmas tree and then make into a bonsai. And it doesn't look like much in the beginning, but each time you work on it, it gets better and better looking with time. So that's how you see a venerable bonsai that's been working for 5 years or 50 years is really incredibly valuable as an heirloom. And then, so what I've done is I basically study the tree, develop a vision of what it can be, and remove all the redundant branches until I get what I wanted. And then envision how they will grow up to fill out the space, the design that I have in mind. And in this case, for example, by the time when I cut it back, it's really nothing is left. It looks really bizarre. And but you know, a couple of things. One is that you cut it back to the core design and then let it grow out. That's kind of the additive manufacturing, which is all the rage today in manufacturing. You can create any shape, any design you want because you're starting from a basic nothing, and then you build on it. So you start, in this case, a basic design, and then you build on it, let it grow, and you clip it until you fulfill your goal. And so that's a very attractive part of making bonsai. And so don't be too shocked that it's very bare. Don't forget, in 6 months, it will be as full as it was before, and to give you plenty more opportunity to shape it again. So you do that again, bare, do it, cut it again, less bare, cut it again, even less bare, cut it again, and you have full and pinch it and all that, you will have a nice bonsai. And that's a process. I think for Shohin, I think 3 years, I think you can get a very respectable bonsai. Whereas a bigger bonsai, it may take 5 to 10 years. So for beginners, I would say, don't be afraid to make mistakes. You cannot make mistakes, just go for it. Be drastic, because it's drastic that creates a drastically impressive bonsai. And it will grow back quickly for you to replace what you do. So here's our visiting neighbor again. And like this bonsai, I will not keep it in a bonsai pot, but I would give it plenty good mix in a bigger pot, at least this size pot, and it will grow out nicely, and I do it again. and it will put it back again and put fertilizer in it, let it grow quickly. Again, use our good soil mix with the sandy loam, peat moss, and perlite. And that's the process. And because desirable trunk is a desirable bonsai is a thick trunk with a lot of ramification, and that's what you want to get to. Again, develop a vision what you want the tree to become, and then work towards that. So I think that's all for today. It's a very short and sweet video for beginners, and I hope you'll give it a try. And if you have any questions, send us send us questions. We'll try to answer it. And this is a bonsai heirloom community that we want to share good information to promote bonsai. It's because it's such a great hobby. So please click like if you think I'm informative to give me some encouragement. And subscribe to our channel and tell a friend. And finally, send us your email address so we can notify you of tree availability, which is very soon. So thank you very much, and see you next week.